Tim, thank you very much for joining us. And the first thing I notice about you is you are the Administrator of Human Services. Now, there is no Human Services Department in Clark County, but there are plenty of services that deal with humans. Talk about your dual roles or many hats that you wear as
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Thanks, Randy. So this is the attempt to really start looking at a systemic approach to a lot of the issues that are facing the families and individuals in our community that are most underserved and overburdened. So I'm the functional daily director of the Department of Social Service, which does a lot of all of our indigent care, our homeless coordination of services regionally, and works with all our community partners inside that service array. And I'm likewise a daily functional director for the Department of Family Services, which is over our child welfare service array, which deals with child safety and a lot of things we'll talk about. The vision here is that we bring together sister agencies because what we recognize at a system level is that families don't go into crisis in a vacuum. They're often in our emergency rooms for domestic violence. They're often having trouble in school. They're often engaged in our juvenile justice systems. They're also likely to be homeless or at risk of homelessness because of some of the abuse and neglect that may be happening in the adult relationship, which then impacts the children and can result in a child removal if not addressed properly. So really looking at a county level, as at a community level with all of our community partners, how do we build a continuum of care for our families, and bringing these two social service and family service departments together as sister agencies formally is just our first step in doing that.
Okay, well, we'll monitor that as you go on, I'm sure. And I know that primarily today's discussion will be on fostering and adoptions. And starting with the perfect question, I think, is a documentary that was recently screened at one of our local theaters here called Foster, an excellent HBO documentary. And is this just kind of an approach to get people to thinking about maybe a difficult topic in this fashion?
Well, it's a brilliant film, and if folks haven't seen it, I implore you get a chance to see it. And that may even include one of the opportunities that we'll be hosting in the community as the fall rolls around to come out and see that and have a dialogue about what it really means to be a part of this child welfare system. And that's what the film does. It takes a look at the system from beginning to end, from a call being placed to a hotline with a report of abuse and neglect, to a family being engaged, trying to get the proper services they need, to children who unfortunately have been in the system for years, who are having difficulty as they enter their teen years with behaviors and mental health needs, and then what the system can do to help stabilize them so they exit as functional adults who can contribute to the fabric of our community. So it's a really good, honest look at that. We were really fortunate and just public thanks not only to Commissioner Weekly, who first saw this video at a NACO conference and challenged us to try to do something here in our community with it, but my recruitment and public relations team, who wouldn't take no for an answer. The 10-city national tour was already booked. We worked our way into being the 11th site, and thanks to participant media and HBO, they came and watched what we did at the Eclipse Theater, which is another great partner, and they said it was hands down one of the best, most engaging public panels they'd had around that subject following the movie, and it just showed the depth of how much our community cares and how engaged we are on this issue.
What type of response did you get back then from some of the public that maybe just thought they were coming there to kind of support the cause and see an excellent movie? Did it kind of give them maybe that aha moment?
Yeah, absolutely. It did. There were a lot of aha moments to the fact that we've had national organizations represented there who had their aha moments with us and have come alongside to help work with us to show that movie to other types of organizations and other counties across the country, so they get an understanding of how hard and difficult it is to deal with the myriad of issues that go into child welfare. It is child maltreatment is a symptom, much like homelessness, of a lot of other family issues: substance abuse, mental health, under or unemployment, just a lot of the stress and factors that deal with poverty are what really bleed into and drive our system. So folks not understanding that, I think this opportunity, this film, and a lot of the outreach we've been doing has been a chance to engage the community around those conversations, to say that, look, we're the end users in this system of a lot of previous failures of an uncoordinated system of care that our family has experienced in this community. By the time they get to the very deepest end of this system, which is us at Child and Family Services, that it's a tough road for them. So we want to engage as many families and community partners upstream as early as possible, while the child's in school, while the child's in pre-K, while the child's leaving the hospital for the first time, to get the services to the families then in a very preventative way. And those are some of the systems we're trying to build.
I know at that time also the Count Me in Vegas website was unveiled at that time or close to it. What can people see on that website?
Yeah, so no matter how hard and how much we invest in prevention, there are always going to be times where we are not able to safely keep a child in their home with their family, which is always our first try. When a child has to be removed from their family, we want to place them with loving, caring, skilled, licensed foster parents. And really, CountMeIn.Vegas is our recruitment effort to get more of those foster parents. We are making a concerted effort to make sure that we're recruiting foster parents from areas that our children are removed from. We don't want a child whose whole world is at Rancho High School to suddenly get removed and placed in Green Valley. So not only did he lose access to his family, but he's lost access to his friends, his teachers, his mentors, his football coach. We don't want that to happen. So we want to try to find families in the communities where children are being removed so they have access to all those other formal and informal networks. So we're really taking a big step forward and asking the community, can we count you in? And at least expressing interest and coming to an orientation to see what it means to be a foster parent.
Some things I see in much of your literature and campaigns is a 10 ways campaign. That you, in child welfare game, in the business I should say, there are 10 ways that anybody could help someone in this situation. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, see, when we ask you to come and help, and I say, here's how you can help. You know, open your home, open your heart, and adopt a child and change your whole life. That can be overwhelming to some folks right off the bat. It takes a special calling and a special person in the right time and season of their life to be an adoptive or foster parent. But there's so many other ways, and I think for so long we've looked past that. You can donate. We have children who come in the middle of the night to our emergency shelter called Child Haven with literally only the clothes on their back. So they need backpacks for school, they need clothing and those types of things. So we receive donations from local businesses and individuals that help provide that for our young people. You can support and mentor foster parents in community organizations that you're a part of. We have great partnerships in some local households of faith who have stepped forward and said, hey, you know what? We may not have a lot of foster parents in our congregation, but we're going to be here to support them. We're going to open our doors on the first Friday of every month, and we're going to provide a chance for those foster parents to have a date night. We'll watch all the kids. And so there's a lot of creative and ways that you can support those who have gone through the process. All the while, us being in your ear to really hope you consider being a foster parent.
You also have a number of other unique outreach approaches, such as bus shelters I know are coming up. There's posters in libraries and government buildings. Pandora, what is it? Why are you taking maybe what might be an unconventional approach to get your message out?
Yeah, I think for too long, we've really taken the approach as the child welfare agency of just going to health fairs and back to school fairs and popping up a table, putting some 8x10 pre-printed flyers on the table and hoping that shotgun approach is going to land us the people we need. But that hasn't gotten us to the recruitment levels that we need yet. Our goal is to not just have enough to put a kid anywhere the night we need to place them somewhere, but we want to have enough that we have the choice for our children to help make as to where they're placed. And that requires a lot more families. So we have to get creative. And we look to the private market, and we've had some great partners come in and say, hey, this is how we drive one of the biggest sales funnels in the nation. We do these things. We go to people where they are. We find out what they eat, what they buy, what their habits are, and we target our marketing to those types of opportunities. So we listened and we learned, and so we're doing some dedicated advertising electronically, iHeartRadio, Pandora. You'll see bus stop shelters. Our goal is to saturate the market, so when you think about Las Vegas, not only do you think about all the wonderful shows and all the wonderful restaurants and hotels that are here, but you also think about a community that loves its children and will do anything it can to try to get loving, caring adults to step forward to become foster parents.
And finally, I know November is coming up sooner than we'll know it, even as we're taping this here in August, but but that is National Adoption Month, and that's an amazing celebration, a wonderful, wonderful morning, a celebration for adoptive families, and also a outreach recruitment for other families that could be adoptive parents. Talk to me about National Adoption Month.
So National Adoption Month is huge for us because it gives us a chance to really focus in on the issue. Because while we're recruiting foster parents, what we sometimes see is those foster parent placements, if they stay for a long time, become that adoptive opportunity for families. It doesn't rule you out if you don't want to adopt to be a foster parent, but over years of building a relationship, that's sometimes a natural evolution in that relationship. So we want to celebrate those families who have said, either I will adopt the child I foster, or I just want to step in and adopt a child who's been in the child welfare system. And we have over 100 children at any point in time that are waiting for that forever home adoption opportunity. But on National Adoption Day, we'll usually clear over 100, 120 adoptions in a single day as a chance to really celebrate and bring to light the need in our community. And we have great partners that help us. We've already achieved, we're at the midpoint in the year, we've achieved already over 300. We expect to clear well over 500 for the year. We hope it's a banner year for us because that makes it a banner year for our children. And that's really what we're driving toward. We have great partners to help us do that. We've expanded our outreach and our fundraising through grants to bring on some national level partners like the Adoption Exchange to really expand their efforts to help us adopt really hard to adopt children, teenagers, medically fragile children, young people who have mental health and behavioral needs. Those aren't the young people that often get adopted first. But every child deserves a forever family, so we're going to do everything we can and invest everything we can into making that a reality for them.
Thank you very much for spending time with us, and I know we'll see you in November, if not before. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Randy.